Welcome to Atmanramayana, where timeless wisdom meets modern insight. Join me, Svetanusha, and our resident expert Srini as we embark on a journey through the sacred narrative of the Ramayana. So, looks like there's lots of difficulties involved in fulfilling this journey.
Correct.
There's a lot of discovery, a lot of work involved in identifying the dharmas,
Correct.
which you mentioned. But the trials may not always end in success.
Absolutely.
And they may not be reinforcing. There is nothing to check, monitor, or kind of thing to let us know that you are on a right path or you are doing this correctly. No, now take a U-turn, now take a left turn. So, how would we know when to give up, or should we give up when we face setbacks?
So, okay, that's interesting. So, there are 3 answers for that. To start with, number one is when you are following a path or when you are saying, this is what I want to do not expect that you will have clarity from day one. Do not also expect that there will not be challenges in between. So one of the virtues of a successful person would be that we have grit and resilience in us. So whenever you have challenges, would you give up or would you go back and fight it back? Interestingly, in Sundarkand, in chapter 13, there is a very interesting story where even Hanuman is contemplating suicide.
Oh.
So when Hanumana does everything that he can do and he is still not able to find Sita, he says, with what face can I go back and tell Rama that I couldn't find Ma Sita and here I am hopelessly coming back. So he says, rather than going back to Rama, either I settle here, take sannyas, or I kill myself, because that will be the most shameful thing for me to do. And then interestingly, the whole narration goes from there saying then Hanumana starts thinking, what happens if he does suicide? So what are the consequences? So the consequences, he says, if I don't go back and give any information to Rama, Rama will probably die in despair that he can't find Sita. And then says if Rama dies, then obviously Lakshmana will also die, because Lakshmana is deeply in love with Rama. And like that he starts extrapolation, and then he realizes the whole mankind will vanish. And then Hanuman says, my God, if the whole mankind is dependent on me, then let me give one more try. And that is when he goes to Ashok Vatika and he actually finds Sita.
Oh.
So difficulties will be there. It is, and Ramayana teaches that us all the time, difficulties will be there. What is important for us to understand is, speed breakers are not pit stops. So pit stop is where you hold and you decide what to do. Speed breakers, what do you do when a speed breaker comes? You just slow down, you recalibrate yourself, and then you speed up again. So difficulties are going to be there, challenges are going to be there in the path that we are. So do I give up for every challenges that come in? The answer is obviously no. Kumar Vishwas, the Hindi poet, gives a very interesting line. He says, Ram van gaye to ban gaye. And that's very interesting line, because it clearly says Rama traveled those years in the Vanvas, 14 years when he did successfully, is when he went from being a normal prince of Ayodhya and he comes, after the journey, becomes Maryada Purushottam. So from the prince of Ayodhya to Maryada Purushottam, the 14 years journey which he goes through is been full of difficulties. You don't, neither, like I always say, neither Rama had Google Maps to figure out where to go, neither did he had bookings.com to figure out where to stay. Right? He went on the journey and he figured it out, and that is why he evolved to become who he became. The same thing is for all our journeys.
For Rama, it took 14 years, but for us, for simple beings like us, it might take more than 14 years.
Absolutely, it will take more than 14 years, but if you are devoted to that idea, then why do you want to give up? Like you look at Ahilya, or you look at Shabri. So there's another interesting folklore that goes on that Shabri waited for 40 years.
Wow.
Right, now if you multiply 40 years into 365 days, it comes to somewhere like 15,000 days or something. All these 15,000 days, every day morning she would get up, she would clean the pathway, she will clean the garden, she will collect the fruits in anticipation of Ram coming. And it's not a small thing.
And she would not know whether...
And she would not know whether he'll come or no, but she never gave up. And after 40 years, when Rama turns up, is the day she actually says, ki, my God has come and I will do what it has to be done. So we don't know who will get their goal and when. It could be 14 years, it could be 40 years. The question for us is, ki, if you and I believe that is the purpose of our life, or that is something which will make a difference to me and others, then we cannot get upset or we cannot give up for every small hurdle we get. It is important for us to stay, focused and stay loyal to that. Modern day, you look at positive psychology, school of affirmation says the same thing. If you affirm every day morning, saying this is something which is very dear to me and I want it, there are whole books written around it, how the world will conspire and the energies will conspire to make it happen. So there is enough things to show that it is important for us to be able to believe in what we embarked on and not get deterred by every other setback. So speed breakers are there, but they are not pit stops. So we don't have to start re-evaluating. Just take a pause and then move on.